So I'm super excited to talk to you about our new project. It's actually a service project, and it's kind of a little near and dear to my heart, and I hope to several of you. Um, we're working on making some bouquets. So the purpose of these bouquets is to lighten the day of some of the residents that live in the nursing homes in Fremont County, or those who are more specifically at Morningstar, Western Heights, Wind River Rehab, Frontier Hospice, or Help for Health Hospice. And we're also hoping to kind of say thank you to the staff and the people that work with them. So I thoroughly love making these cute little bouquets. Here at Makerspace, we had some inspiration to put together these bouquets, and they've come together really well. Now, the exciting thing is that we want to make sure that anyone who helps out, because it's a service project, so the volunteers get to have a bouquet of their own. And I was talking to a little the other day about one of these bouquets, and he's like, ugh, whatever, that's girly. But then I told him, I'm like, hey, you could give that bouquet to your mom for Valentine's Day. And then he just totally lit up. He's like, oh, I can do that. That would be something. And as we're constructing these, there's some wires and some different things that I think will make both the guys really excited about working on this, as well as, you get to come away with something as pretty as this. So I hope the girls will enjoy too. So when you get your packet, it more than likely will be stapled together like this. You can bring it out. Here are our set of instructions. So, and it also explains that the kit has enough in it for 4 bouquets. The idea is that you or whoever is making the bouquet can keep one for themselves. But then I want to be able to take the 3 that are also made for this service project. So thank goodness I have some contact information here. Definitely give me a call if something's wrong with the kit or the instructions don't make sense. And when you're all done, I'll come pick them up and we'll be able to deliver it and lighten the day for these people. I'm super excited about that. So you take your kit and we're going to take a minute to dump it right out. So pull it out there and see what we've got. All right. We've got wires and ribbons and tissues. So one thing to keep in mind, like I've said, this is enough for 4 different kits. So if you see there's 4 tissues, that's for 4 different bouquets. Several flowers. For each bouquet, they have one of these big, nice, graded, colored flowers here. And then this beautiful textured flower here. That's kind of what's needed for the first of these bouquets. The bouquet, if you can see in the picture, is made up of 5 flowers, 3 leaves, 1 tissue, 1 ribbon, and 1 card. And so one of the 5 flowers is this big, beautiful red one. 2 of them are this lighter white with a textured middle. Then we have 2 of these absolutely adorable little flowers. One is a bud, like a rose bud, and the other is just like a little bud that's just starting to open up. In the kit, we've included what I call this wooden dowel tool, and it's actually quite amazing. The first of our steps here says, so you take the flower 1, get these guys out of the way. This is flower 1. It's got that pretty graded color there. It's been printed onto it. So you take flower 1 and you take it with the printed side down. Okay, we to use this dowel, this tool. I'm actually going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing there a little better. There. See, look at that. I take that dowel and I curl that up. I want that pretty tight. Look at that tight curl. So that end flower, look at this. Right? We put that printed side down, but when we curl it up with the dowel, you can see that pretty color. All right, so I'm going to do that all the way around. Like the instruction says, the printed color should show up on top once curled. So these leaves are all beautifully curled. You notice that dowel was actually pretty small. We did that on purpose so it didn't get in your way. We're working with these kind of small petals. Oh, that's going to make just a beautiful flower. Good start there. All right, flower 2. This is flower 2. If you can see here on the instructions, it has that texture with the print side up. Okay, we're going to roll these petals up. Oh, come on. We still want these tight, but maybe not as tight as the first. Okay. Then we're going to kind of stack these flower petals, but we're going to use these stems. And if you'll notice in your kit, you have 20 stems. That's because there's five flowers, 4 kits. Quick math, you need 20 stems. But for each bouquet, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the colored one on top, that tighter curled flower on top. You can see, stacked them like that. I'm going to go inside that little hole with this stem. Now, we didn't want you guys to have to use a lot of glue. And so at Makerspace, they actually came up with this really fantastic sepal. I had a lot of fun learning that word. It's an actual part of the plant. But when you push through with that stem, you're going to poke right through the center of that sepal. Okay? You got right through there. Now the great thing is when you push that up, look at that. You don't need any glue, and those petals are going to stay right where they're supposed to. That's really fantastic. So, the next step, I'm going to step over here and get some glue. Is actually the only place that you need any glue for. And what we're going to do there is glue the center of this really beautiful piece here into the center of this flower. And creating these little felt pieces is similar to how we made the rest of these, was on Makerspace's laser cutter. So normally we would have cut a strip, and then with scissors we would have cut each individual fringe of this felt, this really beautiful felt here. But on the laser cutter, we were able to cut hundreds of these just within a few minutes, which made doing this whole project so much not only easier, but just completely possible. So can you see how pretty that flower came together? It's just a really beautiful anemone. I also learned the name of that flower. It's an anemone. So this guy needs to rest for a minute. He's going to dry while we're figuring out the rest of our flowers. You can stay there. On the next set of instructions is the medium white flower. And if you remember, we need 2 of these. So the first instructions, let's use this dowel tool, as it describes, is number 6 here, to curl the petals of the flower. So we've got this medium white flower. We're going to curl the petals of the flower up. Oh, the instructions actually ask us to start with number 2, these little guys. And these little tiny white petals actually have some printed on that inside part here. It's really beautiful. Just give this little flower some more life to him. We're going to curl those little edges up, give some texture to this flower. All right, and I've got that printed side up like the instructions tell me. So this guy, curl those petals back. There we go. Look how easy this tool is. The fact that it's smaller actually makes it easier to use in that flower. It's not getting in our way. Okay, so I have my 2 parts of my flower. I'm going to take my stem. These metal stems were bent and twisted so that they would have this little knot on the top. I can insert it there through that center, that beautifully cut flower. And then through the next one. Look at that. That's beautiful. And I said it before, but one of the very great things about this project is the small amount of glue that is necessary. We didn't want everybody to have to be gluing petals together and whatnot. So the sepal, again, we push it right through the center here. And just snug, push it up snug against there. Oh, look at that beautiful flower. And with that little piece of foam, it creates enough tension there that those petals stay in place. I just love it. Then if you start looking a little bit in your kit, you're going to have some of those cute green, yellow dots, right? We were trying to decide what color to put in the center of these flowers. We're like, look at nature, right? Let's just go with what nature already tells us is beautiful. And we're going to just put that here. I'll put it where you can see what I'm doing, right? So this has a sticky back. Again, we used the laser cutter to cut out these little circles. Made this job so much easier. Just going to come together so smooth and so easy. I'm going to do the exact same thing over again because this has 2 flowers. 2 white flowers, 5 total. Rolling these petals up with the textured side up. Need a little reminder. Okay, and I'm going to take this white one, curl my petals down. And the stem. So it matters what order. This is important. You have to start with that little guy. Push him up first. Make sure the petals are pointed up. And then when you push this guy, petals are pointing down. Just grab another of the sepals. See how quickly this 3rd flower is going to come together. Grab another yellow center. Just fit it right on top of that knot there. And I can't even see the green wire. It's all just beautiful flower. Okay? So that is the second part of the instructions, the 2nd and 3rd flower. Now we're going to work on the tiny red bud. This tiny red bud. All right. He is also just this little guy. right here. And if we insert the stem down through there, okay, we can push it up through there along with the green sepal, following the instructions. This green sepal really helps make sure that everything holds it in place. We wanted to make sure that you guys didn't have to use too much glue. So Makerspace was able to create this really beautiful green foam, or to cut it out on their, Makerspace cut it out on their laser cutter, make it available for us, so that it will hold that flower in place. Now this little wooden dowel, you can turn our petals in, and it's actually really, really handy that he's so small. This little dowel, we cut it this small on purpose so that it didn't get in our way when we were getting in here to curl these leaves up, because this little flower is just opening up. It's a brand new little flower. And the beautiful thing about these bouquets is they have so much personality. You can just kind of help those flowers just turn a little. See that little guy? He is just starting to open up. There you go. Let's add him to our set that we've got going here. For the next, we're making a small red bud. This is an actual little folding we're going to do here. We're going to fold just along the side right here. Just if you see, I fold just that one side, but I got to do the same to all of the buds going around here. Okay, I'm just going to fold these each over. And the fun thing is when I pull it up, they lap over top of each other. Look at that beautiful bud. Look at that. Without hardly any work and no glue. Now, since we're going to kind of pinch that, but before it's completely pinched tight, I'm going to sneak this stem into the middle here. That stem goes right through that center hole that's already cut into this guy, right there, okay? And then I'm going to use a sepal, this really cool little foam piece here. Push that up, and when you push that up snug tight against that, between the little knot on top of the wire, it holds that flower in place without any glue. So you guys don't have to use any glue for this guy. And then you just pinch so tight here on the end. Okay. And he's just going to stay. Oh, it looks just like a bud that you're going to find on your bouquet. I love this little guy. He's just so sweet. Now I have all 5 of my flowers that are needed for this bouquet. Look at these guys. They're just so cute. And we want to put them all together in our bouquet. So I need to add some leaves. Don't have to really do anything special to our leaves. We could add some lines, some texture, just even with the corner of our wooden dowel here. You want to add some lines. That could be fun little detail added to our leaves. But those wavy lines that have been printed onto here, that gives it some natural shading and just makes it look all that more natural in a bouquet. And for each kit, you're going to put 2 dark leaves and 1 light leaf. And we're just going to gather these together in our hands. Before I get too far, though, I'm going to look at my stuff here because I need, this is called floral wire. It's floral wire. And keep it from making a mess in the packs, we've combined 4 strands of it together. So remember, we're making 4 of these flowers. We're going to take just one of these pieces of floral wire. And also, so I'm ready, I've got this floral tape also combined together so I didn't make a mess in the kit. I only need 1 strand. Make sure they're not secretly hiding together or you won't have enough. So you have 1 strand of floral tape. And these are really fun. I'm going to tell you more about it here in a second. But just gather these flowers together. You're going to have some flexibility as to how they land, so just be patient with yourself and just kind of hold them tight here. We can make them look pretty in a minute. So all that really matters is that you have everything you need kind of tight in your hand like this. And it's surprising how this first wrap needs to be tighter than you think. Okay? So hold that down with your thumb and then wrap that around. See, that guy is going to hold them all together. It's going to protect those leaves. It's going to hold the flowers. Then you can just keep going down. All right? And those, and they're going to just come in tighter to each other. All right. Now we got a little problem here on the end. That's really kind of pokey. The last thing we want to do is to poke these ladies and gentlemen that we're taking bouquets to. I don't want that to poke anybody. So there's a cute little trick that works. Is you just fold up the bottom. All I'm doing is folding that pokey end right up against the stem. And now I take my tape, and I love floral tape. This is really fun for me to work with. And to touch it, no, that's not sticky. That's not like a normal piece of tape that you're going to be getting out of a strand. No, it's not broken. What happens is when you pull, so you pull and stretch it just a little bit. If you pull too much, it'll rip. But if you pull it just a little bit, oh, see, there we go. It starts to get sticky. And you'll notice as you're turning it like this, it's going to get stickier, and it just holds to itself. And what we're creating here is just this really nice stem. It's not going to poke anybody. Kind of finishes all those pieces of wire together. And we're just going to have that really beautiful stem there. So I went down to the bottom. Now I'm coming back up. It's just kind of however it lands for you. But this stem just comes up like that. It's just really beautiful. All right. So the fun thing about these wires is you have all sorts of power over where these flowers are going to turn. So if you're really creative with that, you're going to take just a minute and position those flowers so they can turn and say hi to me. I want those flowers. But one thing to keep in mind is these little pink guys, these little tiny guys might get lost when we add the rest. So if you want to kind of pull them forward, that'll help. So I have my piece of tissue paper here, and I folded them in a square so that they would fit in the kit. But I would suggest just this kind of simple turn here, and you've got a heart. I'm going to go ahead and do that again. So I just open it. Now, my son does origami, so he would have some name for this kind of fold, but I have no idea. I'm just putting this corner past that half there, right? And it doesn't matter if it's perfect. It just gives more of this pointed edge. And then you can line it up so it looks like a heart, or you can offset it a little bit just so that there's more of this pretty fringe end. It's really up to you. We want these bouquets to look the same so that everybody had the same instructions. But if you have a moment for creativity there, that's awesome. Another moment of creativity is, each of our ribbons kind of are a different color. So you have some freedom with the ribbons too. All right. Now I'm going to get ahead of myself here. We want to write a little note on this card. And this is a moment for you to take just a thought or two about the person that you're making this bouquet for. This has been a tough year. A lot of the residents in nursing homes and in different facilities, they haven't been able to see their families and maybe are feeling a little isolated or a little alone. And We don't want to make them sick by going and visiting them, but we do want them to know that we're thinking of them. We do want them to know that they haven't been forgotten. And also, they want to see that little personal note from you. They'll think that is really fantastic. Even if they don't know exactly who you are, it's going to really be nice for them to know that they're being thought of. So feed that through the ribbon. So this is already hooked too, right? And the ribbon is going to hold the tissue paper to that new stem we created. All right, so it's going to kind of give that tissue paper a hug. And that first knot here needs to be kind of tight to keep everything together. So go ahead and loop it. And I need to readjust it here so that I know everything's going to fit. Have your little brother or sister come and put your finger there while you pull that tight. Right. I'm going to just put a little bow there just to make it cute and a little bit special. All right. Then go ahead and, oh, my bud's getting lost back there. I think I'm going to pull him forward, but those wires are making it so I can reposition wherever I want. There you go. Now that you've created this really beautiful bouquet, the next 3 that you make are going to go really smooth and easy. Once you've done it once, the rest come together really easy. If you run into any trouble, if you have a snag or a problem, I would definitely be happy to help out. Give me a holler. If part of the instructions don't make sense, I would love to help you out or talk you through it. If you're missing something, we'll do our best. And we want to have them back by February 12th so that we can get them to the nursing homes by Valentine's. Hopefully we can give the residents and the staff something to smile about on Valentine's Day. So, thank you.